Okay, so where'd we go today?
Yeah, today was, what's it called, Emily?
Whites Farm Flea Market.
Yes, in Brookville, Indiana. About an hour for us.
Yeah, it's about an hour drive.
We got up at 4:15.
Yeah, we did.
Which was too early. Had a pretty successful day. This is an interesting flea market.
Oh, they're so cute. Oh my God, hi.
My buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm gonna bleep out his name. So my buddy, blankety blank, calls these markets dirt markets. Literally, because one of the markets he goes to, I think, is just all dirt. But he means when they're cheap. So
yeah,
they have less good stuff, but more likely to be, I guess, better hits. I don't know that we've had any amazing hits at this flea market.
Speak for yourself, sir.
It's a lot of junk.
There is a lot of, I mean, you know, it's typical flea market where you can get your outdated canned goods. I mean, I forgot to tell you this actually, Matt. So there is one vendor there that doesn't come all the time, but they were there today, and they have frozen and refrigerated items. Like they have like a refrigerated truck that they bring. Yeah. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I got a video of that.
Okay, so anyways, I went over there just to see what they had. I didn't think the meat itself would be expired. I was wrong. There was, I'm not kidding, it had to have been a 10-pound package of ground beef that was dated February of this year.
Oh, I think I got video of that actual ground beef because it was gray.
It was gray.
Yeah, it was gray.
So you know, you can get that. You can get clothing. You can get, you know, your festival dresses. You can get, I mean, they, of course, you know, it's God's country, so they're selling all the guns there too.
My other friend calls these markets the underwear markets, meaning, or tube socks. Tube sock market. So you have good flea markets.
Where did you get underwear?
Todd's Farm. Todd's Farm. I get corrected if I say it wrong. And like Shup's Grove, Renninger's.
You look kind of handsome, you know that?
I'm shaggy. Renninger's. Those are flea markets that are basically like outdoor antique shows, much better quality stuff. Yeah. They don't sell tube socks.
Yeah, these, like, you'll have some vintage dealers pull in, but it is so unpredictable. So like this one weekend.
It's also a farmer's market. There's a lot of plants. But there's tube socks. You can buy tube socks at this market.
And you can go there and get livestock.
Yeah, the livestock. I didn't get any video of the livestock. It's always sad.
Get chickens, you can get ducks, you can get, sometimes they have goats, dogs, puppies, kittens.
The kittens are often free, but yeah, they're not selling the kittens. But yeah, I feel like it's a lot of stuff. There's whole tables that are quarter, whole tables that are $1.
I mean, it's really cheap.
Whole booth that I wouldn't take if they gave it to me, anything out of the booth.
I know.
There's a lot of times there's something, if I think it's worth $50, most times it's priced at $75. But occasionally here it'll be priced at $5. And so that's kind of what you're looking to find. Yeah. Which is true of every flea market, but I don't know. There's better flea markets. I feel like you have a decent chance at buying something for $100 that you think you can get $150 for. Yeah. Here, if it's worth $150, it's either $5 or it's $150. You know? Yeah. It's like either or more like $250 because it's the best thing they've ever owned.
Yeah.
So let's dive into what we bought.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here is the bulk of our purchases. Well, you can't go there and not come home with,
you know, cauliflower and hand cream for $1.50.
Hand cream for $1.50. Technically $1.70 because she shortchanged you. She gave you a nickel instead of a quarter. We got some beautiful looking peppers actually.
I know.
Some of the fruit and veggies are more reasonable.
Are they spicy? Are they not? We'll find out. Stay tuned.
They're not that spicy. Our first purchase for antiques was actually this pile of paintings, all by the same lady. They're dated 1948. Some of them they're numbered, dated. Some of them they're from a class.
I love the colors are so vibrant.
Very like tropical feeling.
Very gardeny.
Yeah, that's like that's nice. That's
a nice little still life. And this is a print.
That's a print numbered.
But it is numbered and signed.
That's by a different artist. Everything else I think is this woman's work for the most part. There's one that had
that's a neat one.
Grade.
Ooh, a grave.
Grade.
Okay.
She was in class.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah. So the
We
way.
haven't even looked at all these.
Yeah, kind of just.
We kind of just bought
This
them
is
and ran.
also a print sign, but this thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what this is.
Box
She got
design, Jeanette Jones.
nice designs.
Not good painting job. B minus.
Yeah, she got a B minus on that.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, not a good painting job. B minus. Wow. Yeah. Sorry, Jeanette Jones. I think you deserved at least a B.
Yeah.
All right, another purchase. Not worth a ton, but they were cheap enough for the old game pieces. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Where do we go next?
Bought these. Not sure how old these are.
Yeah, but
They
they
look-
have such a cool look to them.
Great decorator look. They are signed on the bottom. I did see something new that was selling in like decorator shops that had different faces. These
But
do
like
have-
these look mid-century with the B on them, and the other one has like a D.
Yeah, well, we'll
So,
see.
we'll
I'll have to do
see.
more research on that. Period. These were used for like measuring and marking stuff. You wheel it out and you would know how long you have to count the turns. But this is you can see it's all hand forged.
Yeah.
Nice early piece.
Speaking of early.
Speaking of early, if we're doing early, then we got to do the scroll flask. So that's a Ponnold scroll flask. It's period. Does have, as you can see, a crack in the neck, but yeah, that's a pretty cool thing.
You know, you can't go to Indiana without a melon. Come on now.
It is a southern melon, though. It's not an Indiana
is.
melon. This thing we got from the same people as the game. It's like a wall box. Kind of neat. Early.
Tombstone back to it.
Yeah, the back is nice. I like that little circle they put on
Yeah.
there. They added a horseshoe. It's probably like circa 1910-ish.
Yeah.
Really weathered. Old repair of metal in there. So, kind of a neat thing.
Yeah. Actually, the more I'm looking at these, the more I like these little knockdowns.
Yeah, the
They're
little
so
bowling
colorful.
pins. The bowling pins, yeah. Too bad we didn't get a ball with that, but...
Yeah.
Emily also found this.
That is so cool.
That's good.
And it says, Daddy made this.
Yeah.
And it's fairly early. This would just have been a spoon to eat with, because it's much thinner and smaller than, you know, the cooking spoons and things like that. So this would have been some kind of a spoon for eating. And I'd say, you know, mid to third quarter of the 19th century.
Yeah, 1850 to 1870.
Yeah.
For those who can't do the math.
Did you show the green beans?
We got green beans.
Green beans, potatoes?
Very exciting. And then we got this gate.
Oh, this gate.
This gate. The gate has a good story. The gate had a $95 price tag on it from an antique mall.
Yeah, and we were looking at it, and I love anything like garden antiques, and all Matt sees is an aching back when he looks at things like that.
This thing is heavy.
It
It was a long walk to the car.
was heavy. Well, you also could have just like driven your car in to pick it up.
There's too many people. I would run over 6 people to get that thing.
Well, you know,
And
that's the price they pay.
four of them would have deserved it.
That is a risk you take going to a flea market, my friend.
Yes.
And then what else
But
did
the
we
gate
get?
was priced $95, but this was their last week setting up there.
Last week setting up there. They're going to a different, I guess, market or whatever. They're cleaning out their storage unit there.
They had like a shed that they worked out of.
This flea market has sheds and there's buildings, and so sometimes like you just never know who's going to be open inside.
Some are permanent spots, some are not. This was a permanent spot, but that final week, so they gave us a really good deal on it, so we bought it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you can't go to a flea market without some jam, and this is Matt's 2 favorite things: black raspberry and jalapenos.
Yeah, we're mixing the two together.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll give you a review on this one. Maybe we'll just do a whole video on like you tasting jam.
Yeah, a jam video. Okay, in the basket.
Oh my gosh, where's it at?
I don't know what you do with it.
And this, my friends, is why you go.
That's why you go to the flea market.
markets.
She had this basket. I actually found this basket, which is rare. I saw this basket. She had it filled with some sort of candy she was giving out for free.
It's spectacular.
Yeah. We asked the price on it. She said it's not for sale. I've had it for 30 years in my kitchen. I'm just using it to this.
She's like, oh, that's what my candy is in. And I was just like, go back and tell her.
Yeah, we went back, and Emily and I talked the price before, and I walked back. I say to her, are you definitely not selling the basket? And she replies to me, this is hilarious. She says, no, it's not for sale. Besides, you wouldn't want to pay anything for it. And which is weird because I overpay for half of my stuff.
That's how
now it is a cheap market. Yeah, buy high, sell low, make it up in volume. And so I throw out my number, which was a fair number, not sky high, but not $5 or $10. And her husband is standing there, and he says, we can put the candy in another basket.
Because she kept like, oh, I don't know where I put my candy. Like, because she gave out mints to people who went into her booth. And so it was filled with mints, like, in the packaging.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny. He was just like, no, we'll put it in another basket. And she's just like, oh, but what about my mints?
And she said, and I said, are you okay with that? Meaning the number that I had told her. And she says, you'll really pay that? And I said, yes. And I handed her the money. And so we bought the basket that was not for sale initially.
And then we ruffled some feathers. So
it was hilarious. As her and I are talking about the basket, a woman walks by and says, oh, you've decided to sell the basket? And she's like, yes. That was before I asked her a second time if she was sure about it. So I was like, oh, she is selling the basket. And then as I'm paying for it, a man walks by and she yells at him, hey, I decided to sell the basket, but it's sold. He's getting it, which I thought was hilarious because I guess he had made an offer too, maybe, but I guess his offer was probably like $5 or $10, which is what she indicated because when she said, I wouldn't be willing to pay anything for it. So Emily and I are now proud, albeit hopefully only temporarily, owners of this neat little painted basket. So I don't know. Sometimes if people say something's not for sale, I don't know if they're fishing for a price, but if you have a fair, meaningful price.
She was.
She just was expecting everyone only wanted to be $5. There's a lot of people.
Say that this market is cheap. Like, one guy sets up there and the whole one side of his booth is 25 cents. Everything is 25 cents. So like this market is really cheap. So I imagine most people would not pay anything, but we aren't most people.
Yeah.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Yeah. We're as dumb as we look. So we will
maybe
pay.
Even dumber.
Yeah. So we will pay a little bit of money for stuff, but yeah, that's a cute little basket. And, you know, that and the measure and the bottle were actually pretty early finds for this flea market, considering sometimes all we come away with is fruits and veggies.
Which, in plants.
In plants. But, hey, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe and check out my other content. Peace.